welcome to Living Maestro. I am your host Vedant Chavla, and today we are going to learn reproduction in plants, grade 7. I have already made a video on reproduction in plants, grade 6. If you have not watched that, go and check it out right now. So, without wasting a single minute, let's start with the session. Reproduction is the production of new individuals from their parents. The vegetative parts of the plant includes the roots, the stems, and the leaves. So, reproduction is the process where the new individuals are formed by their parents, and the vegetative parts that are seen in the plants are the roots, stems, and leaves. The reproductive parts of the plant are the flowers, which may bear either male parts or female parts or even both. In plants, there are two main types of reproduction found. They are basically the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction includes where the plants give rise to new plants without the help of seeds, whereas in sexual reproduction, the plants are produced from the seeds. So, the main difference we learn here is that in asexual reproduction, the new individuals are produced without the help of seeds. In the sexual reproduction, the new individuals are formed from the seeds. Now let's learn what is the difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of male and female gamete, whereas asexual reproduction does not involve the fusion of male and female gamete. Sexual reproduction requires different individuals. It requires two different individuals, whereas asexual reproduction requires only one individual. The individuals produced are not identical to their parents and show variations from each other and also from their parents in sexual reproduction. Whereas in asexual reproduction, the individuals that are produced are exactly identical to their parents and hence they are also known as the clones. Most animals reproduce sexually. Both sexual and asexual modes of reproduction are found in plants. Asexual modes of reproduction are common in organisms having simple organizations such as the algae and the fungi, where sexual reproduction is a slow process, whereas asexual reproduction is a fast process. Now let's learn in depth what is asexual reproduction. In plants, there are different types of asexual reproduction. They are the vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation, spore formation, etc. New plants obtained by these methods are exactly identical to the parent plant. So, in the asexual reproduction, the asexual reproduction is divided into further four parts that are vegetative propagation, spore formation, budding, and fragmentation that we are going to learn now. And the new plants that are obtained by these methods are exactly identical to their parents. Now let's learn what is vegetative propagation. In this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts like the root, stems, leaves, or the buds. Example: if the stem cutting of a rose plant or a money plant is planted in the soil, we get a new plant. Same way, potato has small buds that are also known as eyes. If a part of the potato with an eye is cut and planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. If a part of ginger is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Same way, the bryophyllum has buds in the leaves. If a part of the leaf with bud is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. If a part of cactus or the cacti plant is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. So this is what vegetative propagation says. Roots. Tuberous roots of dahlia, sweet potato, and asparagus. Stem cutting of a rose, money plant, potato plant sprouting from ice, ginger with new plants, bryophyllum leaves with new plants, cactus. This is an example of vegetative propagation. Now let's learn budding, and the example of budding is yeast. In this method, a small part of the body of the parent plant grows out as a bulb-like projection called the bud, which then detaches and becomes a new plant. For example, in yeast cell, a bud grows on the outside of the cell wall. The nucleus of the parent cell divides and one part moves into the bud, which then separates from the parent cell. Now you will remember that I have taught you in the earlier chapters what is cytoplasm, nucleus and vacuole. So over here what is happening is that a small part of the body of the parent plant grows into a bud. Then it detaches and becomes a new plant. And example is the yeast cell. Now let's learn what is fragmentation, and the example of fragmentation is Spirogyra. In this method, the plant breaks up into two or more fragments, and each fragment grow into new plants. Slimy patches in the ponds or the stagnant water are algae, which grows rapidly by this process. So, algae are the green patches that we usually see in the stagnant water. And in this method, the plant break into two or more fragments. Each fragment grow into a new plant. Spore formation. Examples: fungus, fern, and mosses. In this method, the fungus produces spores. Spores are asexual reproductive bodies covered by a hard protective coat to withstand the unfavorable conditions like the high temperatures, low humidity. So they can survive for a long time and keep floating in air. As they are very light, they can cover long distances. On getting favorable conditions, spores germinate and produces a new plant. Now let's learn what is sexual reproduction. Flowers are the reproductive parts of the plant. Stamen is the male reproductive part and the pistil or the carpel is the female reproductive part. Flowers which have the male part, stamen, or only the female part, that is the pistil, are called the unisexual flowers. Example: maize, papaya, cucumber, corn, watermelon, etc. Flowers which have both the stamen and pistil, that is male and female parts, are called bisexual flowers. Example: rose, hibiscus, mustard, petunia, etc. So the flowers of the reproductive parts of the plant, that is the stamen, is the reproductive. It is the male reproductive part. Pistil is also known as the carpel, is the female reproductive part. Flowers which have only one, the male reproductive part, that is the stamen, or the female reproductive part, that is the pistil, are known as the unisexual flowers. Some of the examples are cucumber, corn, watermelon, etc. Whereas the flowers which have both stamen and the pistil, that is the male and the female reproductive parts, are known as the bisexual flowers. For example, hibiscus, mustard, petunia, and the rose. Structure of a flower. The stamen has a filament and anther. So the male reproductive part is known as the stamen and it has two parts, that are the filament and the anther. The anther contains pollen grains which contain the male gametes. The pistil has stigma, style and ovary. The ovary contains ovules, which contain the female gamete or the egg. In sexual reproduction, the male and the female gamete fuse together to form a zygote. Here's the structure of the flower, that is the reproductive part of the plant. Here you can see the male reproductive part, the stamen, and further the anther and the filament. Over the side you can see the female reproductive part, that is the pistil, and further it is divided into stigma, style, and ovary. You can also see the most attractive parts, that is the petals and the leaf-like structures, that are the sepals. And here you can see the anther, where when we inside the anther we can see the pollen grains and the pollen sacs. We can also see the filament. Here you can see the female reproductive part, that is known as the pistil or the carpel, which is further divided into stigma, style, ovary, and the ovary contains ovules. Reproductive parts of a flower. Pollination. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther of the stamen to the stigma of a pistil is called pollination. Agents of pollination. Pollen grains are transferred by wind, water, or insects. Types of pollination. If pollen grains from the anther lands on the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant, is known as the self-pollination. Cross-pollination. When pollen grains from the anther of a flower on one plant are transferred to the stigma of a flower on another similar plant, it is called cross-pollination. So in self-pollination, the pollen grains from the anther travels and then reaches the female reproductive part to the stigma. This is known as the self-pollination. Whereas in cross-pollination, the pollen grains that travel from the anther to the stigma, that to the other plant of the same species, is known as cross-pollination. Agents of pollination. Wind. Wind blows away pollen grains from the anthers of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Features of flower. Small, not brightly colored, do not produce nectar. Features of pollen grains. Very light, produced in large numbers. Example, pollination in wheat, rice, and maize. Water. Pollen grains are released into the water and carried out by water current to the other flowers. Examples, aquatic plants such as sea grass and Vallisneria. Insects. Insects visit flowers for nectar. Some pollen grains stick to the body of these insects. When these insects visit another flower, the pollen grains fall on the stigma. Features of the flowers. Smell. Sweet smell. Brightly colored petals for diurnal insects. Example, rose, sunflower. White, light green petals for nocturnal insects. Example, jasmine and cacti. Rich in nectar. Features of pollen grains. Sticky pollen grains. Fertilization. The process of fusion of the male and the female gamete to form a zygote is known as the fertilization. After fertilization, the zygote develops into an embryo, the ovule then develops into the seed, and the ovary develops into the fruit. So, the process where the male and the female gamete fuses together to form a zygote is known as fertilization. After the fertilization, the zygote that is produced develops into an embryo. The ovule then develops into the seed, and the ovary develops into a fruit. And the fruit is also known as the ripened ovary. Fertilization. The process of fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. After successful pollination, the stigma secrete nutrients pollen grains absorb these and start growing in the form of a thin tube called pollen tube until it reaches the ovule inside ovary, then releases male gamete into the ovule. Fertilization takes place, results in the formation of zygote. The fruit is the seed bearing part or the ripened ovary of the flowering plant. The seed is the ripened ovule which contains an embryo and is covered by a protective coat. The process by which the embryo in the seed becomes active and begins to grow into a new plant is called germination. Fruit and seed formation. After fertilization, ovary enlarges to form a fruit. The wall of the ovary becomes the fruit wall. The ovules become seeds. A fruit may have one or more seeds. Petals, sepals, and other parts of the flower usually dry up and fall off. Seed dispersal. The carrying away of seeds from one place to another is called dispersal of seeds. Seeds are dispersed by agents like wind, water, and animals, same as the pollination. Seeds dispersed by wind are very light, have wings or hairs, so that they can easily so that they can easily fly or can be blown away by the wind. Examples: drumsticks, maple, sunflower, arc, etc. Seeds dispersed by water have spongy or fibrous root cover so that they can float on water. Example: coconut. Seeds dispersed by animals have spines with hooks so that they can attach to the bodies of animals. Example: xanthium. Seed dispersal. The process by which seeds or fruits are scattered is called dispersal. Dispersal takes place by several mechanisms. Dispersal by explosion, pea plants, castor, and balsam are some examples. Dispersal by wind, dandelion, drumstick, and maple are some examples. Dispersal by water, examples coconut. Dispersal by animals, examples plant having fleshy fruits. So, how does a new plant grow? Let's take a closer look. There are mature plant flowers. Then the pollination happens where the pollen grains from the anther goes to the stigma of another flower of the same species or of the or it can and it is known as the cross pollination or even self pollination can happen. Then the male and the female gamete fuses together to form a zygote, and this is known as the fertilization. After we find fruits after the process of fertilization, then we obtain seeds from the fruit, and when we sow these seeds in the soil, and when the seeds get enough temperature and favorable conditions, then they can grow into a new plant. So thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please subscribe, share, like. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay notified. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.